welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia. It is day 5 of the reading rush. So today I'm going to be doing the day 5 challenge, which is to bring book art to life. And now I was kind of stuck on this challenge and I wasn't really sure what to do because I'm an artist. That's primarily my thing. And like, it's already art. The book art is already art. So what more can I do to bring it into real life? So then I thought about it a bit, and I thought about my other interests, my other more creative, but also kind of intellectual interests, and I found that I also have a passion for tarot cards. And I thought maybe it would be fun to try and recreate the book covers of my current TBR with tarot cards that both, 1, represent their meaning, 2, are reminiscent of the colours presented in the cover, and 3, just look nice together. Yeah, I really am excited to have a go at this. This is something which I'm not entirely sure will work, but I really wanted to give it a try. So without much further ado, let's get into the video. That I am using to do this is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, because I really enjoy the colours on the cover and I have some very distinct ideas of what I would want to include in bringing the art to life, especially when it comes to representing the themes of the book. The deck I am using is the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck, which is literally my favourite deck. It's so gorgeous. Like, let me just pick up this card from the top. Like, look how pretty that card is in those colours. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be working with. What I have gone with in the end, I chose because I felt like they represented the colours on the cover. So you have that pink there and the award, and then you've got the blue and the green. And yeah, I felt like they represented those colours as well as being quite reminiscent of the themes in the story and their meanings. So without much further ado, which is probably my catchphrase by now, I'll get into explaining them. So the first card that I have here that I want to talk about is the Eight of Pentacles. Now the Eight of Pentacles I really felt like was quite poignant in the sense of the story. There's a lot about creation, about creating something, which I think is definitely quite a cool theme throughout it. Especially, I can't lie and say that I wasn't inspired to include this because of Dante's love of sketching, but that is exactly why I included it, as well as just the idea of bringing something creative into fruition, which is, the Pentacles also is perseverance, it's repetition, it's going through the motions over and over. Generally, it's the mundane, it's the physical. And I think that there isn't a lot mundane and physical about the story itself, but I felt like this card, especially with this particular imagery, like intuitively, this definitely, like, it's the artist. So the next card I wanted to look into was the Four of Swords. Now in this deck, it is described in the guidebook as rest and recovery. I think the pose in the image apparently is the Savasana pose. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and I don't know the history behind it, but according to the guidebook, that's a recovery position. So I felt like this card was really important in terms of like Ari's journey and his having to recover and rest a lot, especially when he gets sick, when he gets hit by a car, things like that. Just generally, he spends a lot of time resting and recovering, and this card I felt like really encapsulated that. I also want to point out the swords aspect, because the sword suit is about the intellectual, the thoughts, the cerebral, the communication, which is very important to his storyline as well, like the thinking aspect of things. So my next card, again, is one that made me think of Ari mostly, but Dante as well, and that is the Hermit, which is, it's an individual soul-searching card, which I think definitely is relevant to both of their journeys when they're looking for each other. They're trying to discover themselves, their sexualities, their personalities, their romantic feelings, and things like that, and they are, for the most part, doing it alone. Because they've separated for a large part of the story, and I felt like this card really represented that quite well. The next card, of course, is the Death card. This is the most tired thing. Everyone always says this when they talk about the Death card, but the Death card doesn't actually mean death. The Death card means a big change or a metamorphosis, and the story goes through several of those, and the characters go through several large changes throughout the story, which I think can qualify as a metamorphosis, which is why I decided to include the Death card. The next card on the list is the Knight of Cups. Now the Knight of Cups I chose pretty much exclusively because it reminded me of Dante's family. His entire family is pretty much the entire Cups suit. And I think although Dante might actually technically fall more into the Page of Cups energy, like the hope, the beginning, the receptive, he actually tends to make his own moves a lot of the time. He tends to push forward and do things for himself and talk to other people and get out there into the world. And I definitely think that makes him similar to the Knight of Cups, which is great because it's all archetypes. And then we have the Moon card, which again is about the subconscious. It's about looking back. It's about the shadow self, what's hidden, what is in shadow. And that I think definitely comes up with regards to Ari when he's discovering himself and things like that. The looking deep within oneself to find things, the background, the introspection that you see here is definitely very, very relevant to him, and I felt like this card was very, very relevant. And that brings me to the Star card. The Star card generally tends to represent healing and recuperation, which again, same reason that the Four of Swords is there, but this is a more general, more poignant Major Arcana version of that card. And then, of course, these two cards, which I think actually go together, and that is the World and the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups represents the completion of the Cup suit, which is basically the completion of the emotional and the growth of the emotional and just emotional fulfillment, intuitive fulfillment, all of those sorts of things. And then you have the World, which represents, again, completion. And I felt like those are really like reminiscent of the themes of the story. The story ends in a way that brings up these two cards, which I think is definitely like why I wanted to include them here. And it's very interesting that these cards are pretty much the exact same color scheme as the book. So I don't know, color psychology is powerful. But yeah, those are the cards that I have come up with. They just kind of chosen to be reminiscent of the book while also representing it, and I think I actually did a pretty good job. So that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to take part in the next challenge. So far these challenges have been really fun. I know I'm feeling kind of sad that there are only 2 more to go. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, let me know what you thought of my bringing the book art to life down below, and I will reply to as many comments as I can, which I can reply to all of them because I get like 3 comments a video. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!